So after 5 movies in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and giving all of them a mostly positive review, you'd think I'd also give this one that same type of treatment as well, right? Right?
That's some good stuff. That's some good stuff.
So Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare tells the shitty, horrible conclusion to the original run of the franchise, with Freddy going after his long-lost daughter for new victims. Hey everybody, how's it going? It's me, Devin Hollister, and today we are finally on part 6, which is called Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. And this one I really have been anticipating because I heard not only is it probably the worst movie in the franchise, it's one of the worst movies of all time. And to the extent I believe them, because I have never seen this movie before doing this review. And I was like, I mean, come on, it can't be that bad. It was way worse than I fucking thought. I'm just gonna be straight out honest with you guys. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It's not the worst. That movie goes to Infinity Pool from last year. I already talked about that. But you know, I really thought they were exaggerating how bad this movie is. And I understood some of the reasons why, you know, because I know this franchise got to a point where New Line did really not give a shit about the quality of the movies. After being so successful and making so much money after the first 3 movies, you know, they quickly just started caring about quantity and quality. I still really enjoyed 4 and 5. I actually still thought those were pretty good. This is the first time in this franchise where I can say, me personally, I think this is the low of the franchise right here. This is where it really fucking dropped. I wasn't even too fond of part 2, but this is like, I'd rather watch part 2 a million times than watch this movie ever again. So let's talk about it, all right? So let's talk about the good things that I did like about this movie. What are some positive experiences that I could take away from the great movie of Freddy's Dead? Nothing. There's nothing from this movie that I fucking enjoyed at all. I mean, everything about this movie was complete garbage. So let's skip that part and go straight to the bad stuff. So let's just quickly talk about New Line. For those of you guys who have watched this movie, you probably already know about all this stuff. But just like I said, New Line just did not care about whatever it is that they had planned for this franchise. They just wanted a quick cash grab, and that may have been their way of doing it for the 4th and 5th film. But it definitely showed for this film. I mean, this is definitely just a fucking cash grab, you know, quick money, quickly get people into the theater and just have a quick, and this whole movie just shows all that. There's no effort. I mean, it's directed by this producer who was part of the 4th and 5th film, and that really got me curious as to like why they took this route on the way that this movie is, where it's all just Goofy Freddy. It's all just bad acting, bad dialogue, horrible CGI, and it just I was thinking like what happened here? You guys really lost your edge. I mean, sure, this movie is old. This is like 1991 or something like that, but it's just like, what the hell? Like, what happened? There's no story in this movie. I mean, for the bit that they try to tell a story is basically what you have is where Freddy, for some reason, has killed all the kids in Springwood. And now he's trying to be reunited with his long-lost daughter, which I don't even understand that they just fucking shoehorned into out of nowhere. And so that somehow brings him more kids. And we have, for like the first half of this movie, you get this character that nobody gives a fuck about. Not even New Line gave a fuck enough about this character because they didn't even give him a name. They just call him John Doe. And you're following this guy, who, by the way, is played by this guy named fucking Sean Greenblatt. Horrible actor. He's like one of the top 2 reasons why this movie really sucks. And, you know, he's getting dreams from Freddy. He meets Freddy's daughter. And it's just a load of shit that happens. Like I said, there's no actual real story. It just comes to the point in this movie where these characters are just doing things. And it's not explained why. The main 2 characters, John Doe and Freddy's daughter, played by Lisa Zare, they're just like walking around doing things. I mean, they end up at certain buildings that they're just there. I mean, I was, throughout the whole time I was watching the movie, I was like, what is going on? What is happening? And they're talking about things that make no sense at all. You know, John Doe's character gets the sense that he is actually Freddy's child at first. How does he get that sense? I don't know. I still don't know. All actors and characters in this movie, they all suck. They all suck. And what's really a big downer is that I actually didn't really have this problem with any of these movies. Maybe in part two, but it's like it never came to a point where I could actually say like these characters are just really bad or pointless or anything like that. It never really came to a point like that. And every single character, the ones we follow, the ones that die, and the background characters and everything, they are all pointless. They are all horrible actors. They are all horrible characters. I don't care about any of them. And it's like, by the time I finished the end of the movie, it's like, this amounted to nothing. This was a big waste of time. And I didn't care. They try to make you care with this character, John Doe, but then they just kill him off in the middle of the thing, which, by the way, these kills in this movie are awful. I mean, they're actually embarrassing, if you quite will. I know in this movie you have the very much hated Power Glove kill.
Hey, you forgot the Power Glove! Wait.
But I actually thought that John Doe's kill was even dumber because, of course, we get this huge comedy Freddy. There's no horror at all. And every time I saw Freddy on screen, I was like, there's no way Robert Englund is not pulling the trigger into his mouth every time he's done with these scenes. He has to obviously be doing it for money. And I'm sure that's all he's caring about. But there's got to be some point where he was like, why am I doing this? What am I doing with my life? You know, and I'm honestly confused as to why he even agreed to do this movie, other than for money, obviously. Which, by the way, this movie made jack crap, so I guess that wasn't even worth it. And that just comes to show that the audience is not fooled by this. I mean, we have this problem to this day where we get these Hollywood movies by fucking Blumhouse and Lionsgate, which Lionsgate I respect because, you know, they have the Saw franchise and stuff like that. But even with Lionsgate and Blumhouse and all these big top Hollywood studio filmmakers, they come up with these movies that are just such a waste of our time. You get all these critics trying to pretend that it's worth watching, like, you know, just like Imaginary and last year Megan. To this day, I'm still not watching that shit. I don't care how many people out there say that shit is good. I'm not watching that stupid fucking TikTok dance crap. We are not fooled by this Hollywood. We will not support low budget, low effort ass movies. Okay, get that through your skulls, you satanic motherfuckers. Just like I said, Freddy is just the worst part of this movie. He's not a horror character anymore. But it's just like this movie, it fell off. This, I guess, was supposed to be their idea of the original ending of the original run of this franchise. And look what they did it. They squandered it. They didn't care. And Freddy is nothing in this movie. He's horrible. His makeup looks awful. The CGI looks awful. The dialogue is awful. Everything that these characters say make me want to kill myself. Make me want to kill myself. And I'm sorry I'm so negative about this. And I'm sorry, like, I look like I'm getting too personal about a movie that nobody's really concerned about anymore. But it's just like, come on, man. This is one of the most iconic horror characters of all time, if not the most iconic. You people have to understand is that no matter how old a movie is, we have to keep bringing this stuff up because we still make these mistakes today as filmmakers. And the fact that these filmmakers are still not have learned their lesson comes to show some of them do. Some of them do, like Lionsgate. They did learn their lesson with Saw X. These people, we're still making these mistakes today, guys. So honestly, that's all I got to really say about that. And I could go on and on and on about how bad this movie is. And I'm sure you guys have heard it all before with other critics. I know the biggest critic that has talked about how bad this movie is Cody Leach. Shout out to him. But it's just like, dude, we're still making these mistakes today, and it just makes us all scratch our head. So, you know, I really recommend you don't watch this movie. If you want to just looking for like cringy videos to watch, I mean, sure, you could watch that film. So thank you everybody for watching. Overall, this was just a general rant, not really a review, but just to talk about how bad this movie is. There's really nothing redeemable about this other than maybe like a Wizard of Oz reference, because I like Wizard of Oz, but even with that, it's just like I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, this is not Freddy. You know, part 3 was great because there was a perfect balance between horror and comedy. You can still have those great one-liners with Freddy. You can still have, you know, great like horrifying, killing moments with Freddy, like as we did in part 3. Awesome visuals, everything. You get none of that in this movie. You just get all out wacky cartoon, Looney Tune Freddy. So, if you guys like that shit, go ahead and watch it. But for all of you sane people out there, don't watch this movie if you've never watched it, okay? I will be watching the Winnie the Pooh Blooded Honey 2. And I really don't know what the fuck they expect from this movie, because if you've seen my review from last year, it was also another rant. So I am excited to watch it though. So we'll see how much they improved themselves over the past year. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week when I do Winnie the Pooh Bloody Honey 2. And remember, why get a job and a girlfriend when you could be watching The Movie Wizard?
Some good stuff. That's a good stuff.
Yeah.